Gutenberg ACF and how easy it is to create block, thankfully. Okay, hello. I'm very proud and happy to be on stage. This is my third time in WordCamp Athens. I stayed twice with this one as speaker and last year as volunteer. So it's always really good and a happy moment to come back to Greece and Athens. I have to go to Thessaloniki. I didn't went there yet, but I will. So I'm here to talk about Gutenberg. I guess all of you know already. And the problem that came with Gutenberg on how to create blocks, that it was really hard to do it until now, that we have a really simple way to do it, and I'm going to show you. First of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Mauricio Gelves. You can find me everywhere with my name or at Mau Gelves. That's my shorter professional name I'm using. I have my web. I'm a software engineer. I work as a freelance WordPress developer. I'm a SiteGround brand ambassador. I'm from Argentina, but I'm living in Madrid, Spain for almost 10 years. And you can find me there in my web. I have a YouTube channel, but it's not about WordPress, but trips and traveling around while I'm working. Instagram and Twitter. Any doubts you may have, you can contact me and I'll be more than pleased to help you. Okay, before starting, a small disclaimer. I'm not working for ACF. I'm not getting any money, any commission for giving this talk. I'm just giving this talk and I'm going to explain and describe this plugin just because I love it and it saves me a lot of time using it. And as a developer at the end, time is money. So that's why. So let's talk about the time of a freelancer. There are many types of freelancers. There are freelancers that works as kind of employee in a company. There are other types of freelancers working for different companies. There are freelancers that co-works together, collaborates together, doing different things. That's how I do it in a way. I do development, but I also work with other freelancers that take care of designs, project management, and all of that. And then it's another type of freelancer, that's me, is the one who takes care of everything. Let's make a simple game. Do you know this juggler, this really famous juggler? If you do, please raise up your hand. Come on, he's really famous. Don't you know him? Really? I don't know him either. But let's suppose that is Mauricio Gelves. And Mauricio Gelves is doing everything as a freelancer. He takes care of the budget. He takes care of the project development, the project management itself, maintenances of his different clients. Of course, WordCamps, because this talk takes a lot of time to prepare. And that empty stick is for all the technologies I had to learn if I was willing to create Gutenberg blocks with the native languages. For example, React, Webpack, and JavaScript, ECMAScript 6. So that was kind of a risk for my time and all the things that I have to do, because I do everything as a freelancer. But I'm a freelancer, but I don't work alone. I work with the WordPress community. And the WordPress community helped me a lot with a lot of things. For example, the community takes care of the security. So in a way, there's a lot of developers out there, the most intelligent developers working in the security of the core of WordPress. So in a way, they are working with me. We also have tons of plugins to use for our different kind of business we have. And that's also, it's people working in a way for us or with us. And last, I'm using one of these plugins that is called ACF. It's one of my pillars as a freelancer WordPress developer. I'm using it a lot. So if you don't know it, it's a simple plugin that you can install in your WordPress and you can have access to create different custom fields. As we can see, text, numbers, email, URLs, images, galleries, tons of custom fields that you can attach to different elements of WordPress. A post, a taxonomy, a user, and now blocks, and that's why I'm here. But in WordPress 5.0 came a really big change, maybe the biggest change in WordPress, and it was Gutenberg, a new way to create the content. And it changed everything, everything. Not only the way we create content, but also at the data structure information, how it's stored in the database. We're going to see some examples of that too. But this idea wasn't new, because ACF was already doing this kind of structure of block, and it is called, because it still exists, flexible layout, where we could create different kind of block, let's call it that way. And in that block, we could attach a bunch of custom fields and reuse it in the same way as we do right now with Gutenberg. This is still working in ACF. So with this new change, I was using this a lot for all of my clients, because it was a way to have my website, their website, in a way secure, like locked with some boundaries. So what I did, until I got a new way to create Gutenberg blocks, I installed these two plugins. One is to remove, the first of all is to remove the Gutenberg editor and to continue with the classic one, the one we'll be using for more than 10 years, 15 years. And of course, advanced custom fields. So with these two plugins, the problem was solved. I was working as I did since 2012, more or less. But then, a day, 14th October last year, I remember that day, I got it in my head, stick here, there was this tweet. ACF was introducing Gutenberg Blocks Development, and I couldn't be happier, believe me, and I let them know. And this was the example they gave. Actually, it's a new example because this is a new release that came last week, but I've been using it in beta version, testing it a lot. So this is a new demo they launched. So here we go. I don't know if it's working. There you go. It selects a new block. It's called testimonial. And we have a bunch of new fields. For example, he's picking an image. That's Elliot Condon, the author of ACF. He can write a text field. There's a text area. He's choosing a background color and a text color. And then he will go to that button at the right that says switch to preview. And then we have the renderization of the block. And he can also change the value on the fly. And you can do that all with ACF. That's when I saw that, I needed to learn it as fast as possible. And I did it in beta version, and it was working perfect. And I also had a website in production when it was in beta version, and it was working perfectly. But now it's they launched it last week. So let's see how this works. How can we create this kind of blocks in a simple way? Believe me, it's really, really simple. We are going to go step by step and see all the details. Let's suppose that the organizers of this WordCamp call us to create a website, and they want in the homepage, in the front end of the website, they want to have all the speakers with the titles and the description. So we, as developers, we have two different approaches to reach this goal. First of all is the classic one. The number one is that we create custom post types, taxonomies, and we add the custom fields. And then we create the Gutenberg blocks reusing this information. And the other way is just directly create the Gutenberg block with all the fields. So which one do we pick to create this solution? It all depends on how do we want to store the information in the database. Common animation, there you go. And of course, both solutions has its benefits. For example, in the number one, we can reuse the information because the information is well stored in the database. And we can use the templates. We can reuse the custom post type template, we can reuse the taxonomy template because the information is divided or separated in the database. It's completely easier to make a search for this kind of information, and we'll see why. And of course, we can reuse blocks. And in the second way, that we are going to do in that way right now, the only thing we can do is reuse a block. We have the different fields, and then we can make this block as reusable, and we can reuse it in different parts of the website, in different post pages, and so on. So, which are the steps? Step number 1, we have to register the Gutenberg block. How do we do that? Well, we have a specific action in ACF. How do you see the code? Yeah, it looks good. Okay. It's a custom action called ACF/init. Then we attach a function to that, and we start writing the function itself to register a block. And it has a lot of parameters, as we will see right now. We have to give it a name. In this case, it will be a talk. It has a title. It has a description. This is the function we are going to call to create the HTML for the block. We can group all these custom blocks in a group of Gutenberg blocks. We can set an icon with dash icons or SVG. Mode auto is we can fill those custom fields, and when we click outside the block, it renders automatically. Otherwise, we can go to a button. I will show you that in a demo. And then keywords, because we can create Gutenberg blocks just typing without going with your mouse clicking everywhere. And last, this is brand new. It's we have a parameter to enqueue the specific style for that block. So it's a good practice to create different CSS file specifically for each blocks, or at least we can have one CSS for all the custom blocks we are going to create. So that's it. We have registered a block. So easy. Second step, we have to create the custom fields with ACF as we did all these years. No, nothing new here. There is a small example, just the title of the website. In this case, is WordCamp Athens 2019, and then it's a repeater. We are going to input a lot of talks. We have to give to the administrator of this website to add as many talks as they want. So that's why it's a repeater. I'll show them in a demo too. One thing that is new with ACF, with this latest release, is that they introduce a new target for this group of fields, and that is a block. So that means if the block is equal to talk, the block we registered in the previous step, please show all this group of fields. So that means if you open a post, if you create a new page, and you select a Gutenberg block of type talks, it will display all this group of fields. And it looks more or less like this in backend. Next step, this one is an optional. It's to export this group of fields to JSON or PHP. And why it's optional? Because if you export it, you can have this file in your GitHub, so you can share this code with the rest of co-workers, developers. Otherwise, these fields will be stored in database, and that's harder to share. And I suggest not to do it that way. How to export? It's quite simple. You go to the ACF plugin. Sorry, let's go again. Yeah. It goes to Tools, and then we have that group of fields, GB Talks, and that will export the JSON, and with the other button, we have all the PHP code. That's the code we need to add to our theme or our plugin, and we have the same set of fields, and it will be in our GitHub, in our repository. And the last step is to create the HTML/CSS for that block. Otherwise, it won't look really nice. So, for example, this is a simple HTML of all what we have to do for this WordCamp, where we have a talk. Then we have an H3, that it will be a title and a paragraph. And we call those fields using that function. It's the same as we did all this time with the ACF. You can call the field, get field, and then the unique name of that specific field. In this case, WordCamp Athens, Gutenberg Talk title, and the description, WordCamp Athens, Gutenberg Talk description. That's the name I gave to these two custom fields. This is a small example. The HTML is quite larger. So, one thing that is really important, how is store this information in the database? I need to show that in my computer. Is it working? Hello? Yeah? I feel like a rock star, switching mics. Okay, here we go. There it is. Perfect. Okay. So we have here a custom, a simple. Oh, why I'm not looking at it? Do I have to do that? Okay. Sorry. There we go. We have the database of WordPress, and we had a query. It says, show me the post content. That is a field from the table WP post. So show me that field from that table where the ID is 23. 23 is the home page I created for this example. So what I have, and I have to see that table, perfect, is this huge thing. It's all that information. Don't worry, I'll show it bigger there. And I close this one. Perfect. As we can see, oh no. My goodness. There you go. As you can see at the beginning of the code, it's a comment, an HTML comment. So that's, if we deactivate ACF plugin, we won't see anything. But the rest is like a JSON. That's what happens if we create directly the Gutenberg block without custom post type, taxonomies, and so on. So be careful when to choose where to use this way or the other way, because the information is stored as we can see. And yeah, the next slide is a quick demo, so I'm going to show everything what I explained, but how I did it in my code in the website. That's way easier. Okay. Okay, this is a project of WordPress where I have a theme called WordCamp Athens, nothing very special. And here I have an include folder with a lot of things, with in queues, custom post type that I'm not actually using it. But I have a folder. Oh my goodness, that's so small. Okay, I have a folder called G-Blocks, Gutenberg Blocks, where I add different files. In this case, I have a talk file that is the one that we can see here. So I can close this one right now, and that code, you can see it. Okay, perfect. We have the registration, as I explained. We call to the specific action, ACF/init, and then we call to the function to create, as a first step, the Gutenberg block. As we can see, we can call that block with the testimonial keyword, with the quote, and then I'm calling this function to create the HTML. That function is down here. It has a lot of HTML with the ACF plugins. Don't worry for this code because I'm going to share everything at the end. Here we have like some kind of loop because if you remember, it's a repeater where we are giving to the administrator of the website the possibility to add as many stocks as he wants and the rest of fields. We have here the title somewhere. Yeah, it's a subfield and for the title and another one for the description. And let's see how it looks in the backend. Thank you so much for Jose and Raf to be part of my demo. Thank you. Okay, let's go to pages. This is the home page I created. My goodness. Okay, let's create a new one. I don't know what's happening. If I create here a new block, I think I broke it. Let's see. But it's working in front end. Yeah, it's working in front end, but why is not working? Sorry for this. My God. Your site doesn't include support for the ACF tool. You can leave this block intact. Let me try to solve it. Okay, cross your fingers. I did the update of ACF right now before the talk, and I shouldn't have done that. Okay, I'm sweating. Now I got nervous. Okay, now we can see here the block, and it's absolutely rendered. But what happens if I click on the block? That's the automatic mode I explained in the first step. It automatically converts and shows all the fields. And we can change it. We can, for example, remove my last name. And if I click outside, my last name is no longer there. I want to change the title. And it's no longer there. Another cool thing is that, let me just minimize this. So we can switch the position between, let me show you where, here. We can change the position. And if we update and refresh the page, we have that. It's really simple. And I will show you now the field groups. So I have a group of different fields that I call Gutenberg talks. As we can see, we have 2 fields, but this one is a tricky one because it's a repeater. If we open this one, we have another bunch of fields here. We have an image for the avatar of the speaker, a text for the name, a text for the title of the talk, a text area for the description, and a text for the Twitter account. So if we go back to the page, we are going to see those fields. Once again, we have the image here, a text field, another text field for the title, a text area for the description, and another text field for the Twitter. And we are using all those fields here. We are calling by their unique names, and we can create the HTML we want, because we have everything really well organized in the back end, and then we can reuse them in the front end as we want. Back to the presentation. So, as I said, don't worry for all this code, because I'm going to share with you a zip folder with this theme, with the WordCamp Athens theme, where you just need to upload it to your local WordPress, and you can see all the code that I made. And now's the time to take your camera and take a picture to this BD code. It's there where you can download it, okay? There you go. I'm not going to put it in the middle. Okay, you got it? And as I said, if you have any doubt, you can call me, you can ping me, you can contact me, and I'll be more than pleased to help you. I'm also will be in the hall of the venue until the afternoon, until it ends. And please stop me, I'll be with my computer, and I can show you how it works. So I'm really happy again to be here. I'm really happy to give this talk because I think I'm the only one explaining how to create ACF blocks in an easy way. I think it's the easiest way. This is a great example and great news for PHP developers who don't want to deal with a lot of JavaScript, Webpack, and a lot of things. So thank you very much.
Thanks for the talk. Can you just save information from the blocks into the content, or can you save the information you put into the block into the post meta?
Yeah, that's the 2 approaches I said at the beginning. If you really need your information to be in the in the meta tables, not only post meta, taxonomy, terms meta, post meta, the best approach is to create custom post types, taxonomy, everything you need, everything we did before this new Gutenberg era, and then create a specific Gutenberg block reusing those custom post types. So instead of using a text field or an image field, you will call a custom post type field. And you can reuse that information, and you can be secure that your information in your database is well stored. Otherwise, you have all this huge HTML comment in your post content field, and that's not what we want. We can do that only if we are going to apply it for a front end and for unuseful information that is going to be temporary. We can do that. But if you are going to deal with sensitive information, I suggest to create the specific structure. Thank you, Raf.
Good evening, and thanks for the talk.
You're welcome.
What about the order of application of the CSFs of the Gutenberg block? What priority does it have? Is it overridable? Should we apply some inline CSS in order to override the block level CSS? Or do you have something to say about that?
Yes, if you will create custom Gutenberg blocks, you will have your own CSS, so you won't have conflicts with other CSS. Try to be sure to use specific classes, don't use common classes names, otherwise you can have problems. But if you use specific names, you won't have any problems. If you are trying to override the styles of an already existent block, you can do that in your child theme.
So it's straightforward.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Child theming and okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is thanks well written in Greek? Because it's directly from Google Translate. I'm not cheating you. I don't know Greek.
Hello. That's an easy way to create.
Where are you?
Over
there.
here.
There. Okay.
That was an easy way to create some Gutenberg blocks.
It is.
In terms of speed, is it performing well enough on a bigger scale for sites with more content and more reusable blocks?
The answer is like everything. It all depends on the cache system you are using. Of course, this will bring information from the database. If it's everything in the post content, it's in the same query because you have all the information there. But if you are grabbing information from the different meta tables, you have to use a cache system. So only the first user will pay the load of getting all that information, but the end, everything is cached, so it just throws the HTML and CSS. So it doesn't have too much impact in the performance of the websites.
Okay, and the difference in speed of the site when I create custom blocks with React, not with ACF plugin.
I didn't do that benchmark test, but
okay.
I think that is not too much difference.
All right, thanks a lot.
Because I think that at the bottom of ACF, there's a bunch of JS code. So, but I didn't do that test. So if you can do it and you can show me that what works faster, but I can tell you, it won't have a strong impact in the load of your website.
I've seen some benchmarks about ACF, and it seems like it's kinda slow as a plugin. That's why I had this question.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, perfect. Any question, I'll be outside. Thank you very much.